People who eat a more alkalinic diet, you don't see that prevalence of plaque in the mouth. For patients who tend to be more plant-based, they generally eat a diet that's more alkalinic, which helps to remineralize teeth as well. Some foods do naturally have, phosphates and calcium, which strengthen the teeth, versus people who might be on a high, simple processed carbohydrate diet, such as I would say like breads, crackers. A lot of my kids do eat a lot of that. I have to educate my patients about dried fruit, like in candies, because over time the acidity can degrade away the teeth. And so simple carbohydrates tend to create more plaque, and that plaque is basically a matrix of bacteria, biofilm, that's stuck on the teeth. But a lot of my patients do drink sodas, unfortunately, and so I tell them, hey, if you're putting all this acid in your oral cavity all day long, no wonder we're seeing all this acid erosion, where to the point I'm seeing pulp exposure. After eating any acidic meal, and I educate my patients what an acidic meal is, it's, fruits, juices are very acidic. Teas, a lot of teas, unfortunately, are acidic enough to dissolve the enamel on teeth over time. And so I tell my patients, especially for those who have dry mouth, being diabetic, having dry mouth, you have everything going against you. And so I will have my patients re-neutralize their mouth by incorporating baking soda rinses throughout the day. Also rinsing the mouth with water after drinking juices. And so by just rinsing the mouth, or yes, drinking through a straw, because you're basically shunting away the acids from going on your teeth. Because if you drink something, I would rather you drink it in one setting than to prolong that juice throughout the day. Or if you are doing that, try swishing with water occasionally, have some baking soda, rinse it out, and re-neutralize your mouth. So don't brush your teeth right after eating something or drinking something acidic, because you're basically wiping off that dissolving teeth. Because if you let it rinse your mouth with water, neutralize it, let it sit, it will slowly remineralize. With diabetes, like I said earlier, because of the reduction in white blood cells, they're not able to fight against the harmful bacteria that cause the gum and bone degradation. We see a decrease in wound healing because the blood vessels, they're becoming necrotic. And so we do see more bone loss and tooth loss in those situations. People who have cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and other chronic diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis, because of the medications that they take, not only are they having immunocompromise, like an immunosuppression, but these medications cause dry mouth. Our saliva is actually also our body's natural defense against bacteria, because it acts as a pH buffer to maintain the pH in our mouth to stay within a certain healthy range. Our enamel actually starts to dissolve at a pH of 5.5. And so when you don't have normal saliva buffering that, we see a high increased incidence of dental decay because of that as well. Charcoal toothpaste, it definitely does whiten teeth, but what it is it's a mild particles that will abrade the teeth. So it abrades the stain, but it also permanently abrades away enamel. And so patients will come with tooth sensitivity because our enamel essentially has pores. And so when you abrade it with these sand particles, you're opening up more and more to that nerve. And so of course, patients are gonna start to feel sensitivity. So I would say if you're using charcoal, use it sparingly. Dental cleanings will help. My parents lost their teeth. I'm gonna lose my teeth too. Well, while it's true that age might play a factor, sometimes genetics too, but it's not really the case completely. Patients who might be diabetic, there are inflammatory factors or even immunocompromise. When you have a reduction in white blood cells, our body's natural defense against bacteria, that same bacteria in our mouth causes damage. And so our diet definitely does contribute to promoting certain microbiome in the mouth. I came across a couple studies that kind of cross-referenced each other. They took two different groups. One was a vegan group, and the other group was an omnivorous group. And they took the saliva, and they wanted to see what the difference was in the saliva. And so they found that in the particular vegan group that they studied, they ate more fiber. I know that there are other studies that show that in our gut biome, that when we eat fiber, it does promote a certain bacteria. Well, same with the mouth. And they found that the two different bacteria strains, the one in the vegan group had a lower prevalence of periodontal disease, which is the number one reason for tooth loss. So it's actually not age. I have 90-year-olds in my dental chair who have all their teeth.